Hello, everybody. Hello, and how are you all? Welcome to the Voiceover Network presents the Voiceover Hour. Today, it is all about animation characters and booking work. So, welcome, everyone. Can you hear me? Which is always a good start. Can hear and see now. Brilliant. Good. Phew. It's always good to start like that. Yes, yes, yes. Brilliant. Welcome, everybody. My name is Rachael Naylor. I am the founder of the Voiceover Network. I am editor of the Buzz magazine and voiceover artist and host of the Voiceover Hour. I'm based here in London. I want to just start by welcoming everybody to the Voiceover Hour. I know we have a lot of people watching today who are new to the Voiceover Hour, so that's very exciting. It's going to be an hour. We're going to share lots of great information. If you want to start off, this is always a fun thing I like starting with, is yes, can hear you, Rachel Fandango. Brilliant. No, push the button. If you want to just type in where you're watching in from, this is always really fun. And then I'll try and read it out. Oh gosh, you started already. So Denver, we've got, oh, they're going so fast. Canada, Vancouver, Yonkers, Bethnal Green, London, Brussels, Los Angeles, Essex, Dallas, Leeds, Denver, Los Angeles. They're coming too fast. Brooklyn, Atlanta, Oval, Surrey. We've got Westlake Village, California. We've got London. We've got Bolton, Nottingham. Normally Manchester, but Edinburgh today. Hello, Edinburgh. Leicester, Liverpool, Bank, Elstree, Queens, New York. Fantastic. The Cotswold Tory. Hello in the Cotswold, beautiful Cotswolds. Wonderful. So we've got a lot of Americans, a lot of Brits. I think we've got somebody in Poland, possibly. There was somebody who was registered in Poland. We often have a couple of from Mexico as well. Do we have any more? Fantastic, wonderful, and Brussels, of course. So welcome everybody to the Voiceover Hour. Oh, there we go. Canadians, San Diego, another one. Wonderful. So we have a very special guest today joining us all the way from Los Angeles. We have the wonderful casting director, Sara Sherman.
Hello. Hey guys, how you doing?
Yay. Oh, thank you for joining us, Sarah. I'm going to do a proper introduction to you in just a minute. We also have Roger Woods. Hello, Roger.
I'll unmute then and say hello. Yes.
And we have Lisa Fiticaro as well, joining us as well.
Lisa. Hello. Hi, everyone. Great.
Good stuff. So for those of you that are new to the Voiceover Network, just to do a little introduction before we get cracking with this fantastic interview and sharing lots of wonderful insights. So the Voiceover Network is about helping, supporting and strengthening the voiceover industry. It started with a little meetup group in 2013, which grew very fast. And in 2015, I launched it as a membership organization. And the reason for doing that was to create a hub, to create somewhere that we can all in the industry come together. So voiceover artists of all levels of experience, whether you're a beginner, you're an experienced professional, casting directors, agents, producers, directors, so we can all come together and help and support each other. The industry, it is the best job in the world, right? The industry is growing so fast, lots of people coming into the industry, and I just saw that there wasn't very much help and support out there. So for me, I think training is really important. So we run lots of events, lots of workshops, both in person and online. So no matter where you are in the world, you can come and get involved in the Voiceover Network. We have lots of online help and support. We've got a brilliant Facebook group. And we have the Buzz magazine, which is the only magazine in the world dedicated to the voiceover industry. I know some of you who are watching, who went to the LA Expo Pro, will have seen a copy of the Buzz magazine. It is a print version, and I'm very, very proud. The only magazine in the industry. So yes, so that's good. And then obviously we have the Voiceover Hour webinars as well. So these are every 2 weeks. And as members, you get access to all the past webinars. So I think there's like, Lisa, did you say 400 hours worth of webinars or something amazing like that? So there's lots of webinars in there. So yes, very, very exciting. Today, if you want to tweet and Instagram about this webinar, please do use the hashtag VON webinar. So do take photos or share little insights as we go along, and I will make sure that we retweet everything. Good stuff. Wonderful. Right, I can read. So, and if you're not a member of the Voiceover Network and you would like to join, I'll be announcing something at the end of this webinar. I also have something else very exciting to announce at the end of the webinar, so do stick with me. Yes, Sarah's involved. So there we go, something very exciting at the end of this webinar. So there we go. Our guest today is the very, very wonderful Sara Jane Sherman. Sara is a freelance animation casting director, as well as having worked with Disney. So you do work with Disney still, bits and bobs.
Yep, on a consulting basis, I do.
Consulting basis, director and voice coach. So Sara has worked on a huge amount of amazing animations: Big Hero 6, Tangled, Ever After, Milo Murphy's Law, Phineas and Ferb, Gravity Falls, Star Wars: The Force of Evil, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Club Penguin. There's tons. So I would like to welcome a very special Sara Jane Sherman. Oh, videos have gone. What's happened there?
We lost
I'm
Roger.
here.
Roger, where have
Sarah's
you
here.
gone?
Yes, I'm still here.
Hey, someone pressed something. Where did Roger go? Roger disappeared. Fantastic. So welcome, Sara.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate quite that. That was a great introduction, so thank you.
And you were recently over in London. You came over for our Above and Beyond event, didn't you?
I did. I came with Aaron Drown, and we did a talk and some workshops and stuff. It was a lot of fun. I loved meeting all the talent there and seeing everyone. So that was a real treat. Thank you for having me there too.
Oh, thank you for coming. It was amazing. You gave a fantastic talk, and the workshops. It was a very special weekend. So yeah, we'll have to have you back.
Oh, all right, fine. Okay, everyone heard that. I'm coming back. I don't know. It's official now.
Oh, fantastic. So, Sara, just kind of getting started, tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about how you ended up being a casting director in animation.
Yeah, well, I started out in an area called development, which meant that I would buy shows for whatever studio I was working for. At the time, I was working for Disney, and I was kind of a junior person on the bottom rung, but I was trying to buy shows for Disney. And while we were doing that, we were making a lot of pilots, which are the first episode of a series to decide if we wanted to move forward. And in the pilot process, I got to see a lot of casting. I got to go down to the casting booth and hear the actors, and I started to realize that that was way better than development. And so I made the switch from development to casting, and I started my casting career at Disney as a coordinator. And I worked my way up from coordinator to manager to director to executive director. I spent about 12 years at Disney, like you said, doing shows like Phineas and Ferb, Gravity Falls, Wander Over Yonder, Star versus the Forces of Evil. We have Big Hero 6, the series that I think is premiering the 20th, so very soon on Disney, and Tangled, the series, all those great shows. And I recently left Disney in January because I got an opportunity to work with Jon Stewart, and he was doing some political parody stuff for the internet, and it was just fascinating. And he really ran an animated show like The Daily Show, which, do you guys have The Daily Show there? Does that ever, or does it?
Yeah.
Yes? No? Okay. And, you know, while at Disney, I had about 8 weeks to cast a pilot, you know, to collect the auditions, to send it out, have actors read. With this job, I had 4 hours. So I had to cast and record the 2-minute short in 4 hours.
Wow.
So that really just changed up what I was thinking and what I was doing. So I kind of relearned the casting process, you know, how to trim it down. Because a show like South Park, which is pretty fast, is, you know, a week, maybe 2 weeks. But this is, like I said, 4 hours. So what's interesting, too, is at Disney, if you have somebody doing a voice, like they are the one person doing a voice. And, you know, we hold that true, and they'll be doing it throughout the series. And if there's other projects with that character, they would still do the voice. But with this, if a person who does our, President Trump's sound-alike, if they're doing that character and they're in a session for the 4 hours that I need to cast and record it, I can't necessarily use them. So it's interesting that I'm finding multiple people to do one role. So I really, strayed away from your original question of how you got started, but that's kind of how I started and what I've been up to. And so I did that for a little bit, relearned the whole casting process. And then I've now been doing freelance stuff, which I'm super excited to tell you about in a year when it comes on the air. But yeah, dialogue directing, casting, and a lot of coaching, getting people ready for their big auditions.
Nice. Good stuff. And so what is it about being a casting director that you love? What's the best thing about your job?
Well, I mean, there's a couple different things. I mean, I love, finding people who have never even thought about doing voiceover and saying, hey, here's something new and exciting, and introducing voiceover to them. I love being able to, watch some of my favorite shows and seeing the person that is the best friend or the sidekick and be able to give them the lead role in animation, because kind of, it's the difference between live action and animation. The person that kind of comes in as the wacky sidekick can oftentimes be the lead role in animation. So that's pretty fun. I love watching people get it, kind of making that turn, saying like, oh, I get animation. It's not just voice over, it's voice acting, and kind of realizing all of the acting that goes into it. And then, it's funny, my husband, and I think I might have even told this story at Above and Beyond. So my husband thinks that he's very funny. And so when he tells me stories and he tells me jokes, I oftentimes correct him of how he could have told the story or joke better. And I think that comes from my directing a lot. And he hates it, but it goes into what I like about, the control aspect of it, ruling the world. No, but, helping to shape the story and help deliver the comedy.
Nice. We have a bell in our house, a pretend bell. It's like, oh, I'm being funny now.
That's funny.
So fantastic. Good stuff. So talking about castings, in terms of where do you go and find talent?
Well, I think it depends on what I need. I mean, every project is very different. Every executive producer is different. So it really depends on what they're looking for. I've worked with some executive producers that say, I only want to work with people that are, voice actors, and they can cover every single character that comes out. They're very versatile. And they can, I want a group of core people that are going to be my go-tos, and they're going to be all I'm casting in the show. And then sometimes they say, I only want celebrities and I only want big names. Or sometimes they say, I only want comedians. So I have to kind of adjust where I look for my talent based off of what my needs are. I think it's my job as a casting director to really be out there scouting all those different types of fields, trying to meet everybody who's out there, so that when shows come up and projects come up, I have the arsenal of talent that I can go to. But yeah, I'm scouting comedy clubs, I'm scouting live theater, television, movies, events, teleconferences, Above and Beyond, scouting wherever I can to find people so that I have them in my arsenal so that I can take them out and, give them roles as needed and as is appropriate.
Nice. Fantastic. And advice, so for those who have never done animation, who are watching, who are thinking maybe it's for them, they've always thought that they would be great as a voice in a cartoon. And I think for a lot of actors, that's I know that was for me, as a young age, kind of that's a sort of a big dream of doing fun voices. What would you say to them in terms of what are the key skills that they need, and how would they know whether they've got what it takes? Quite a big question. But.
Well, I mean, I think it's usually being able to give 110% to the character. In animation, we say highs higher, lows lower. So you're not just kind of all one level, all one note. You're not trying to sell a car, you're trying to become a character. So acting is huge. Comedy is great. Not all animated shows are comedies, but having a comedic background is great. The ability to go big and maybe go a little wacky. I mean, I'm not saying completely cartoony with things, but being able to go a little bit more broad with characters. But giving it a try, because you never know. I mean, I absolutely encourage people just to try it and see if it works for them. To see, if it's fun, if you love it, absolutely try it. Just see, might be their new passion.
Yeah, definitely. Fantastic. And so for those that have maybe done a little bit, and then, or maybe they tried a bit and they think, yes, this is for me. What would you say are the kind of key steps for them to what should they be doing to get
Well,
animation?
I mean, I would say be findable. I mean, that's the first thing, right? It's like, how am I going to find you? Well, one way is to have representation, have an agent or manager that is going to say, hey, Sarah, remember you met this person? Or hey, Sarah, you should meet this person. So that's one way. I mean, and then if you don't have an agent or manager, are you doing any shows? Are you out there performing in something that maybe I could come see you at, or one of my colleagues to come see you and watch you perform, improv, again, stand-up, theater, whatever the case may be? Are you and if you haven't been cast in something, maybe make something of your own, make your own video. I mean, now we're at a time where you can create your own content if you haven't been cast in something. Have a website if none of those are appealing to you. Just be searchable, be findable. I can't tell you how many times, people have said, oh, I just really want to, be a voice actor in animation and it's just not really happening for me. And I said, great, like, how would I find you? Well, it's like, I'm not just going to come knock on your door and like, oh, do you happen to like animation? Do you have a funny voice or a funny character? So yeah, be findable, I would say, would be a big thing for me.
Yeah. And obviously like training and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I guess that's good too. Details. But yes, training is great. I like a couple different things. If you're going to be taking any workshops, I think you should get a well-rounded experience, not just taking them from fellow voice actors, but taking them from people that are hiring the actors, the casting directors, or the dialogue directors, the people that are directing the actors. And really do a little bit of research to see these people that are teaching, are they in the business? Are they doing stuff currently? Just to make sure that they're up to date, they know what they're talking about and isn't from 1985, but it's from 2017. And their notes still apply. Because I think we had a big shift in animation of what people are looking for in things as well. And so, yeah, taking workshops, doing meetups, practice, I think is great. Finding fellow voice actors that you can do characters in front of and see what they think, see if they laugh at your jokes. I think it's important to make sure that, not just your mom is laughing at your jokes, but also maybe, fellow voice actors find what you're doing funny, so that when you know how to sell your brand of comedy in your auditions. You can go to libraries and look at, children's books, and they've got great artwork, and they've got little lines of dialogue that the characters say. Develop voices for those. Develop your repertoire. I mean, yes, you can absolutely do animation voiceover with one voice, your own voice, but it helps if you have a repertoire of voices, several voices that you can pull from, several characters that you do, and you keep working on those characters and developing them and make sure you can sustain them. Practicing. It doesn't always have to be stuff that you pay for. It could be just practice, recording your voices, and self-critiquing. Absolutely.
And how important are different accents in animation?
Well, if it helps you distinguish between your characters, sure. If you don't have a ton of voices, but maybe you can do a ton of accents, that's great. I think the majority of work that I've done for the U.S. has been just standard, I guess, no accent or U.S. accent, I guess, American accent, general. But yes, there's been certain shows that they do require accents and stuff on as well. But I think it just is very show specific. So I think it's great. I mean, the more you can do, the more marketable you are. Great, so do the best. If you're a person who does accents, fantastic. You can add that to your list, because when I need a person who can do accents, I want to be able to find you. So yeah, it helps you distinguish characters. That's good too.
So for the Brits, they really need to be able to nail an American accent if they want to be booking animation, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, but then I've also done shows like Phineas and Ferb, which half the cast, was in the UK. So, we were looking for both. But I would say, yeah, it's great if you can do I don't know, a natural American accent. I don't know what you would call it. Standard
General American.
General American. I like it. I loved when I was visiting you guys, and I was in doing the workshop with some people, and they were doing our American accents, and it was just the very stereotypical, or maybe a Valley girl. There was one person that did something like that, and I was like, "Are you making fun of me? Is that what I sound like?" Quite funny. I liked it. Loved it.
Brilliant. I get it when I come out to the States for events. So I get everybody kind of coming up to me and testing out their British accent. Which,
they say, hello. That's all I got.
Oh, excellent. Good stuff. Fantastic. Um,
Rachel, do you want to jump in with? There's loads of questions that have appeared in the last 27 minutes. I
okay,
don't know if you want to
go for
tackle
it.
some of those.
Yes,
Um,
I haven't seen any of them, so
yeah,
pick them
no.
out.
Great name, Royal Joiner. How do we reach out to casting directors if not in LA? And is it necessary to have an agent?
Great question. So the majority of shows that I am casting, I do go through voice agents. Um, and I am reaching out to people in Los Angeles unless it is very specific, where I need, British actors or whatever the case may be from a certain territory. Um, I mean, I think we're searchable too. I mean, it's like if you wanted to reach out to me, you go to my website, you email me, and I get emails all the time, cold emails, people reaching out, asking questions.
That's how I found you, which was
Yeah,
just over a year ago. I had a kind of moment. I was like, right, Disney, where are you? And I literally sat on Google and I went, Disney casting director, and your name popped up. And I contacted you, and we got you on a webinar last year, and then that's it.
the rest is history. Yeah, so I mean, I take my own advice, be searchable. And think about what you're trying to say when you do reach out to the casting director. I mean, one of my pet peeves is when people just email me and say, just please help me. All I need is your help. If you could only help me, I know I would be a success. And it's like, well, what does that mean? What do you need help with? What are you trying to accomplish? I think, just kind of being short and sweet with your email, really, whatever you're trying to get across. And I do try to answer every email that is sent to me through my website. But getting in touch with casting directors, back to your question, I would say, email's great. Like just doing searches. Most people have websites these days. You can certainly find them. I've steered away. Did I answer the original question? Do I need to, Roger,
Yes.
do I need to go back? Okay.
No, I think you got it there because how do you reach
Yeah.
out to a casting director? And the second part was, is it necessary to have an agent?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, it depends on the project. I mean, right now I've seen a lot of pay-to-play sites. I don't particularly go on there for searching people, but to get probably with the Nickelodeon, Disney, Cartoon Network, Sony, the Hub, I mean, those would all have people have agents, I would say.
Yeah, and I think so often it's putting the time in to do the research, because so often people just, and I think, especially now, we live in a very kind of fast world where it's just everybody wants everything instant success, instant, this, instant that. And actually, I often say to people, it's about doing the research, it's about putting in the groundwork, go out there, find these people, research them, find out who you want to work with and why you want to work with them, and contact them, and be somebody, that they want to work with. And just as you were saying, there's a great analogy of kind of being a cat or being a dog and I remember it, especially with acting, in terms of coming into an audition, are you a cat or are you a puppy dog? Because nobody really wants to work with a puppy dog who comes in and goes, I'll do anything, I just want to work with you. But if you can walk in as a cat, you're much more, there's a confidence, and it's actually quite a nice way to sort of think about it.
Yeah.
And I,
That's great.
it makes me think back to the amount of times that I've gone into castings when I was a young actor, just the puppy dog, please, and you just think back and you think, nobody wants to work with that.
That's great. I love that.
Be a cat.
Let's move on then, shall we? John DeMarcus says, do all of your voices end up in a studio, or will you take voices remotely?
I have taken voices remotely with the Jon Stewart project just because we had such fast turnaround. People would record from home. But with Disney, all the stuff, all the dialogue was recorded in a studio. But we would, if you were in London and we were based in LA, we would get a studio in London and then do a patch to connect you.
Okay. What percentage of animation roles go to 30 to 50-year-old females, say Sherry Benson?
25%. I don't know exactly the percentage, but I think there's definitely work out there for sure. I mean, take Disney, you've got moms in all the shows pretty much, unless it's a Disney feature and then the mom has been killed off somehow. But all the show, all the lead characters, tween leads do have moms. But it's not just moms. I mean, there's leads too. I mean, and then Do you mean like for the younger role? Well, just to clarify, I guess. We do have adult women doing young boy voices or adult women doing young girl voices. That happens as well. So, I mean, I would say they're there. I mean, I don't know exact percentage, but we have jobs for everybody. There's jobs for everybody.
That's what
And I
yeah.
often say to people who are trying to get into animation, and I wonder if you would recommend this as well, that there are always universities and schools where people are learning to do animation, where they
Yeah.
would need test voices to come in and help them out. So, you know, it's worth contacting a local university course that are doing, you know, these are guys, you know, guys and girls doing animation. They're the kind of the next generation who will be coming and working at Disney. And if you can kind of get in
And absolutely, absolutely. And then even the one step further is animation studios that are currently doing stuff but maybe can't afford to pay people for scratch and they're having their employees do it and it's not great, but they might need someone just to come in and do scratch for them. You know, just and there's animation studios everywhere, not in all over the world. So yeah, calling them and seeing, oh, do you ever need scratch actors?
yeah, because it's, you know, and then you learn and you'll be in the studio and you're you know, getting your foot in the door. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
Okay, let's just do a couple more, then Rachel can go back into a free form. Do you have character and scene breakdowns in animation voice work, such as how to shape a voice? I think you touched on this at Vaughn because you got those sort of crib sheets, but for those that weren't at Vaughn.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand. So yeah, when we send out our scripts for auditions, usually they have character artwork, a character description, and then lines of dialogue for the actor to perform. And to the character description does usually have a little bit. Well, I mean, sometimes it describes the voice, but sometimes we're open to, you know, anything there. But the artwork, I think, tells a lot about what we're looking for in a voice. Obviously, you know, it's a young girl character, or if they have braces, or they have a lollipop in their mouth, whatever the case may be. I think that has a lot of influence on the voice. Am I answering that question correctly, you think? Is that, okay,
Yeah,
making sure that
yeah,
was what was
absolutely.
asked. Great.
There was just a quick one from Adam was, what is a scratch actor?
Okay, so maybe the person who's putting a temp voice in before the actor who is truly going to be doing the role comes in and records it. So it could be an example of maybe they're going to have a celebrity come in, but they don't want the celebrity to come in until they've worked out all of the kinks in the script to make sure the animation is right. And so they want the celebrity actor to come in at the last minute, so they have a temporary voice in there. Sometimes they really don't know what they want for a voice, and so they don't want to pay someone the big bucks to come in and do it, but they want a placeholder voice to animate to and to give an idea of what the character could be. So a scratch voice is essentially a temporary voice.
Okay. Will Harrison Wallace. Hi, Will.
Hey,
He asked a
Will.
question about studios, which you've answered. He was a bit more specific about what sort of spec you'd want from the home studio, but you were very clear about the fact that you wanted people to go to a studio you would book in London if that was the case. But he also says, you said you approach actors that don't have experience as voice actors. How do you sort of, what signals are you looking for from that actor to take on the voice role in a production you're doing?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think it's just people that stand out to me. I think it's a taste thing. I think that's kind of why I'm in the position that I'm in, is that, you know, I see, you know, things that entertain me. My example is, you know, I was watching a show and I'm currently casting a role, and I was watching a show at a theater in downtown Los Angeles, and I saw someone perform and I just heard their voice and I was like, oh, that's the voice of the character I'm casting. So I mean, I don't want to say the it factor, but the it factor, I guess it's, you know, someone that is going to entertain me, that is unique, that stands out, that made me laugh, that I thought was a fantastic actor, that I thought stole the show, or someone that my eyes kept being drawn to for some reason, or my ears kept being drawn to, and I just wanted more of them. So it's hard to exactly tell you what it is, but I mean, that's kind of my thing.
Okay, several people have asked this question, and then we can Rachel can pick up from where she left off. Catherine Curridon asked the question: do we need to be in a union? And if not, how do we get work if we're not in the union?
Hi, Catherine. Good to see you, hear you. So I think, I mean, again, it depends on the projects. The Disney, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network ones, like those Sony big studio ones, yep, those are union shops. Um, but there are smaller productions that you don't have to be in the union. Um, so, I mean, it just depends on the show. It depends. I mean, most of the work that I have cast have been union shops. So everything I've done has been union. If I love your voice or the studio loves your voice and you are not in the union, they will do something called Taft-Hartley you into the union, which means they will pay a fine and pay a fee and get you into the union, which would be great for the talent who is non-union. Um, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of getting into the union is not as easy as that, but you want to kind of get those jobs where hopefully they will either bring you in or you get enough credits. SAG-AFTRA credits is our union here. Get enough SAG-AFTRA credits to be eligible to join.
And I mean, a lot of the animation is really in LA, isn't it? I mean, in the US, it's LA.
Yeah.
In the UK, there's a lot
In
happening
New
in
York
London.
is second.
New York is second.
Yep.
Mm.
You're saying it's not happening in what? Sorry, what were you saying about London?
Yeah, there's a lot there's a lot of animation happening in London as well, but there's not so much kind of out
Yep.
of London. So in terms of in the UK, you kind of really need to be able to get to London for animation work.
Yeah.
I know, speaking to Dave Peacock, who was at Above and Beyond, he wants you to come into the studio in London. So that's just have that in there.
Yeah, I mean, and I have a lot of talent that I've seen kind of pretend they live in Los Angeles, which works too. They don't say they're not in Los Angeles, and they get a callback audition, and they will fly in for the callback audition. So they kind of give the feel that they are in Los Angeles and they are, willing to travel and to do that. But it's hard for me because I would never want someone to spend money, to get to do an audition. That's always stressful. So I don't want it to cost you money to audition, but it is that feeling of, oh yeah, I can be there tomorrow, sure thing, or I can be there, later today, or whatever the case may be, to kind of appear as though you're in the Los Angeles area.
And in terms of, for those who book a series, let's say with Disney, how long does that recording period take?
Depends on how many episodes have been picked up. I mean, obviously, a pilot episode before it's officially gone to series is just that, day player contract, the one job, maybe some pickups. But then once you get picked up to series, there could be, anywhere between 13 to 26 episodes in a season. And usually it's picked up season by season. In a very rare instance, they pick up 2 seasons right away, but for the most part, it's 1 season at a time. And we could probably do, I'd say 3 episodes every 4 weeks or so. So you can kind of do the math there of just depending on how long you work. And then once we kind of finish all the first rounds of episodes, we always have ADR as well. So then we go back into the episode and do ADR, which is our pickup lines, essentially, once it's already been animated. So we can't say the word Kleenex, so we go in and we change it to tissue, whatever the case may be. So, having small pickups here and there, so you get paid again to come back in to do pickups.
Wow. I've just seen that Stefan Frank has talked about 101 Dalmatians apparently is casting here. Is that right?
Disney UK, yep. So that's that is Disney UK. I'm not involved in that. They were handling that part of it. So I think Aaron did it. I think that was Aaron's show. Come to think of it.
LA last year when I came into to Disney to see you guys, I remember he was casting for 101 Dalmatians that like he was talking about it then. I was really chuffed with myself because I came in a white dress with dots all over it, and I was like, how cool is that?
Yep. So 101 Dalmatians. Yep, that's right. That's Disney UK. I think Aaron Drown, the Los Angeles casting director, was helping cast that because it was an all British cast. So it was true Brits out of the UK.
Yay! Oh, good.
Can we just slip one extra in? Because Neil Didsbury, who's not very far away from me in Norwich, I think, unless he's elsewhere in the country, he says, what does the perfect animation voice show reel sound like for you, Sarah? And what does a casting director listen for? Excuse me, basically duration, variety, etc., etc., etc.
Yep. minute to 90 seconds animation demo. I mean, it's hard when they're going on 5 minutes and stuff like that. It's like, okay, we're spending too long on a voice. I just want to hear kind of a taste of all of the different characters that you do, all of the best characters that you do. Don't put characters on your animation demo reel that you're, that's kind of a good character, just to kind of get more filler. Really only put characters that you can sustain for, if I say, great, now I want to book you with this role and I want to book you for 4 hours. Can you sustain that voice for 4 hours? Not just doing this monster sound that I could just say 3 lines in and then I'm done. Putting characters together that don't sound too similarly. Oh, you guys lose me? Putting characters together that don't sound too similarly. So if you have 2 teenage boys, you aren't putting the 14-year-old next to the 17-year-old. So I don't think that you fell out of your performance. So it sounds like another voice that you're doing. I would say decent. I don't always want to say that you have to have broadcast quality, production quality, or anything. But I mean, I don't want it to necessarily sound like background noise while you're doing it. Having your demo done. Have a level of professionalism on your demo for sure.
Fab. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I mean, you definitely want your demo reel to be the best that it can be.
Yep, it's your calling card. It's your best representation of yourself. I mean, that in your auditions is what you have to put forward. I'm not going to be able to meet with the 500 actors that I'm casting or I'm listening to their auditions, but this is your representation of you. So I can't see your fantastic personality in real life, so sell it to me in your demo.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Good stuff. Have we got any more questions, Roger, while we're on questions?
Not at the moment.
Fab.
I've got one, Rachel.
Lisa's got one. Hey, Lisa.
Hi. Sarah, so Dave Jones asks, do you mainly voice to the animation or do you animate to the voice?
Dave, good question. I mean, I think it tends to be a case-by-case basis, but a lot of times the dialogue is recorded first and then it's sent off to be animated. But then in the case that there's pickups, then you come back in afterwards. But of course, there's dubbing. If you have a anime project in a different language and then we bring it here and we need it dubbed into English, then that would happen after it's already been animated and we're just going over it. But for the most part, it is record the dialogue first and then animate.
Good stuff. Nice. And should you, I mean, you should have, how many characters would you say that somebody should have in their kind of toolbox to be able to kind of, is there a set number that you should have nailed down?
Well, I mean, that's tricky because if you have one awesome voice and that's the voice I need, that's all I need you to have.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if I'm casting for this role and your one voice is perfect for it, that's all I need. But then you might not be getting multiple jobs from it. Okay, how about this for an answer? As many shows as you would like to be on is as many voices as you should have.
Nice.
If you want to be in 20 shows at once, fantastic. Then, have 20 different voices that you can sell all the different networks. Because yes, I mean, there are people that just do their one voice and they're on multiple shows, but we don't like it when kids get pulled out of the episode and say, wow, Mom, this character sounds just like the character on a different animated show on a different network that I watch, or get the characters mixed up. So, you want to have that vocal separation. So, having that one voice, great, that'll get you one show, maybe a second, but if you want to be on more shows, then maybe you get a few more voices in your toolbox.
Yeah. And any tips for the audition? What kind of tips have you got for people to kind of nail the audition? Because I know you guys get how many? You get thousands, right, of submissions.
Well, about 500 for a role, but then it's thousands per pilot for sure, because there's more than one role in a pilot. And it depends on how specific the character description is. Specifically meaning we cast ethnically appropriate for all of our roles. Mm-hmm. So the more specific I am, if it's a 14-year-old, I always use the example that I had a 14-year-old Afro-Irish boy that I was casting, and I only got 3 submissions, as opposed to I'm casting for a tree. Yeah. Then I might get a lot more submissions. A lot more people can play the tree. And I have cast talking trees before. So yes, you do want to stand out. First and foremost, add your personality to the role. You are not just reading the lines, you are becoming the character and performing the lines. Think about the setup. Picture what's happening in the animation. I know you don't always know, but picture how far away is the person you're talking to? Are you standing? Are you sitting? Are you slamming the door after your performance? I mean, what are you doing as a character, and how does that influence your performance? What do you have to do to add that physicality, those sounds, the breath, the laughter, the heavy sighs, all those kinds of things that really plus the material without changing a lick of dialogue and bring the character to life. So I'm looking for people to, get their brand of comedy in there. Like I said, get their personality in there, and do what they can to create a standout audition. Make some different choices. Try things that are a little outside of the box, to see what sticks.
And ad-libbing?
I think it's tricky. It's a case-by-case basis. I mean, I think adding a little bit here and there, absolutely. If you're doing an in-person audition, you can certainly ask, are you open to ad-libbing? At Disney, I would always say yes, ad-lib, get me to laugh so that I bring you in and then probably tell you not to ad-lib, because the writers love their words. But I was recently talking to Cartoon Network, and they didn't want anyone to ad-lib. They didn't want any additional things. The creator, they wanted to be exactly true to the creator's words. And I don't think that still rules out doing that, those physicality, those sounds that I was talking about, like the laughter and the breath and the sounds of frustration or whatever the case may be. So I think that's your cheat right there. So because you're not adding any words, you're just adding sounds and bringing the character to life. So that's my big tip, is add the physicality when you can.
Wow, we're still there.
Yeah.
Just everything just refreshed.
Yeah.
Fantastic, good stuff. And what about heroes and villains? What would you say? Because that's the fun part of animation, right? It's doing the heroes, but it's the villains really, right?
I mean, those are my favorite things to cast. And villains come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. I mean, you've got the villains, which are truly scary, that are, out there to kill you, and that's very scary. But then you also have the villains that are your frenemies, and that kind of are the girl and the bully in the playground, or just the mean girl that's going to say horrible things about you. Or you've got the villains that aren't really villains at all and aren't scary in any way, shape, or form. Their plans always get foiled, and if it weren't for those pesky kids, they would have gotten away with it. But I just think villains are a lot of fun. And what I really love is watching people who think that they normally can't play villains try it. People that naturally have a really sweet, sugary voice that are like, oh no, I'm more of the fairy godmother as opposed to the villain. And then watching them unleash and try these villains and these really heinous characters is a real treat. It's a lot of fun. So I love casting for villains.
Nice, good stuff. So, who would be interested in Sara doing a workshop, an online workshop for us, about finding your inner villain? Anybody? Do you want to just say yes if you would be interested in? Oh, there's quite a few yeses. Well, it just so happens.
You got a lot of people that want to let out their inner villains. I love it.
Fantastic. So, Sara, we have organised for Sara to do a fantastic online workshop for us. It'll be a 3-hour online workshop. We've done a few of these online workshops before. Aaron Drown did one for us, and Randall Ryan did one recently, which was it was a huge success, which is great. So very, very excited to announce that Sara is going to do a 3-hour online workshop, which is called Finding Your Inner Villain. It's going to be on Monday, the 11th of December, everybody. I'm about to release details on how you can book. You're going to need to be quick because there are only a few spots. We're going to do it how we normally do it. So the way we normally run these, it'll be a 3-hour online workshop on Monday, the 11th of December. It's going to be LA time. It'll be 9 a.m. till 12. UK time, it's going to be 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. And I'm not sure what the New York, somebody work it out, what New York East and
12 to 3.
12 to 3.
12 till 3. There we go. There we go. Fantastic. So we're going to have people who are going to watch, and then we're going to have 10 readers, only 10 spots for readers, everybody. So if you want to read a spot, you're going to have to be super, super quick. The readers are going to get scripts, and they're going to read with Sarah. Sarah will redirect them, going to play around with some characters. I think possibly 1 or 2 characters you'll get to read. And then all the watchers, in fact, the watchers, you learn so much from watching other people read and seeing how they're redirected. And it's been, I mean, these workshops have been incredibly popular. So you can either be a watcher or you can be a reader. Obviously, we're going to have different prices because we're going to have this is where it gets really fun, because we've got prices for general. We've got a discounted price for members of the Voiceover Network for both of these. So the watchers general price is £49, which is $65. And the members price is £39, which is $51. I've worked all this out. If you want to be a reader, then the non-member price is £69, which is $90 US. And members price is £59.77 US. The dollar sign is a rough. On the website, putting in dollars as well is just going to fry everyone's brain. So the prices are in pounds on the website, but you can book using PayPal. So I'm going to, members of the Voiceover Network, all you need to do is log into the members area and it will give you the discounted rate. Are we ready? Right, where is it? Here we go. It's on the website. I'm just about to post it in. But yes, again, if you want a reader spot, you're going to have to be super quick, because as I said, there's only 10 spots. There you go. Go, 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 everyone. Hopefully it's going to work. Any problems, let me know. I should start seeing. But yes, so that's exciting. Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. It's the 11th of December. Yeah, fantastic. And so Sarah, tell us a bit about what you'll be kind of doing on this workshop.
Well, I mean, you had it. I think it's finding the different villains. I'll send out copy of different types of villains and letting people go crazy. I mean, some of them will be the more subtle ones. Some of people will be screaming their heads off, you know. And then I always love to put people through their paces, because I'm super evil myself, and just make sure that they have a really hard time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm very nice. But, you know, just always giving people redirects and trying something different just to see how you take direction. You know, I might say something at you like, because it happens in auditions, you know, I loved your performance, but that voice isn't working for me. Can you try a second voice? And throw that at you and see how you do with coming up with a whole nother voice for the character right there on the spot. And really finding vocal variation, creating a dynamic performance. Again, I'm bringing back that physicality again, adding that to your performance. Yeah, and, you know, just having fun and laughing and all that good stuff.
Nice. Right, Roger, keep talking just while I get this link for everybody. Any more questions? Roger, are you there?
I have a couple of questions that I've pulled out. Can you hear me,
yes,
Sarah?
Go for it.
Yes.
Great. So, Laura Adstead asks, have you any advice for people in the UK who are not in the industry at all for a good starting point to get into voice acting?
I think you did it. I think you did it today, just now. It's a great starting point. You know, it's like you're here and you're learning and you're meeting people who are doing, you know, what you're considering doing. You're making the connections, you know, doing meetups with people who are doing what you want to do and finding out how they got started in the business is always great. Doing that networking and reaching out, I think that's an invaluable way to begin. But yeah, then taking the classes and, you know, doing the research that Rachael was talking about and the homework, that would be what I would do.
Great. Let me ask this next one. So Michael Valente is asking about your coaching sessions that you run. if they don't book with you, who do you recommend for vocal coaches?
Yeah, so I do them, but then, like I said, getting that well-rounded experience. I mean, I know people in the Los Angeles area who are doing it, but I think they have them on Skype, like Richard Horvitz, the actor, and Bill Farmer, who plays Goofy. I think he does them. I know Marilyn Wisner does them, Ginny McSwain, Everett Oliver.
Definitely.
Yep. I mean, those are all people that do stuff too. I think it's always great to do, like I said, a well-rounded group of people to see, oh, I'm responding how this person takes direction or how it gives me direction. And then I can respond this way, the way this person gives me direction. And really, because every time you go into a casting room, it's going to be different. You're going to be working with a different director. So being able to not just work with one person all the time, I think is invaluable. So you can learn how other people talk and, deliver direction.
Is anyone having problems? Just
There
let
you
me
are.
know. Just
Sorry.
post if you're having problems booking. But I can see lots of bookings are coming in. Ooh, we have quite a few readers. Reader spots are going. What we're going to do tomorrow is we will release this out to everybody. But you guys get first dibs because you watched the webinar. So those that are watching the repeat of the webinar, the reader spots may well have gone. But do come along to the watcher. Do come along to the watcher. Be a watcher. And come and this will be the first, and maybe if there are lots of you, we might do a second one. If you need to. So but yes, wonderful. Tried to book, but it's still not accepting my login. Richard Chaff says, oh no. Ping Lisa an email. Lisa, can you put your email address in there just so that I don't want anybody missing out? I'm going to try and put the link in here. Let me try and put the link in. Richard, did you want a watcher or a reader? Does that work out? If reader spot's gone, so didn't try. Let's have a look. I'm just going to double check and see if reader spots. There's still a few reader spots left. I think most of them have gone. I think we might have one or two. Look. And are you working on anything fun at the moment?
Yeah, tons of fun stuff. Can't tell you a thing about it, but they're super fun. Get you all to sign my NDAs, my non-disclosure agreements. But yeah, some stuff for kid stuff. So back to my roots.
Okay, everybody. Yeah, the reader spots have gone. But do come and do a watcher spot. I'm going to have to take those down because they have been snapped up in record time. I think that was like a couple of minutes.
Can I be on a wall somewhere? Does that count? No. Hi, kids.
Okay.
I think they can still send me an email, a request. I could have a waiting list.
Yes, please do. Book your watch spot, and then don't panic, everybody. If you wanted to be a reader, book your watcher spot and then email Lisa, and we will get you on a waiting list. And if there are lots and lots of you, then we'll do another workshop. There we go. How's that? If you're up for it, Sarah.
We'll see how this one goes. We'll see. Let's not go crazy yet.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be great. And just before Christmas, it's just after our Christmas party as well. And as Roger said, I think we should be sobered up by the Monday.
Yeah, everyone better be sober by then. That is a prerequisite for the class.
There is a lot happening at the Voiceover Network at the moment in terms of events. So we have Dave Vernooy coming over this weekend, which is very exciting, from LA. He's coming to London to do a video game workshop. And then we've got Sean Pratt and Johnny Heller coming over for the first weekend in December to do audiobooks. And then we have our Christmas party on the 8th of December. So those of you who can get to London, if you haven't got your ticket to the Christmas party, it's a wild, wild west. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be good fun. So, yeah, wonderful. Good stuff. Okay, everyone. So we've come to the end of the hour. Do we have any last minute kind of burning questions from anybody? I think we seem to have answered a huge amount. The hour has gone it's gone so fast.
Well, may I just throw in, if anyone wants to reach out, I'm at sarajanesherman.com. If anyone wants to do that, burning there's another question that didn't get answered, I'm happy to, talk to you guys there, and all my information is there if people want to get in touch.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yay. And what's your Twitter handle?
I don't know. At Sara Jane Sherman. I was like, I don't know.
So yeah, everyone, please do tweet away using the hashtag VON webinar, and at Sara Jane Sherman, and then at Network VO. So please do, yeah, and we will retweet away. Wonderful, good stuff. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for this last hour. It's been a lot of fun. As I said, yeah, we've got lots of you booked in for the workshop, which is going to be brilliant. Whether you're a reader or a watcher, you get a huge amount out of these workshops. So, and it's great to be able to do them online, because it means you're going to be in LA, we'll be here, we'll have people based all around the world logging in and learning together. So,
sounds good.
Yes, and we'll get scripts to everybody. Membership, there we go, Roger. Good stuff. If you are not a member of the Voiceover Network and you would like to come and join our amazing community and come and get involved in all the fun stuff we've got going on in the members area of the website, our Facebook group, the Buzz magazine, there's loads happening. Please do email me or Lisa. So I'm Rachael at thevoiceovernetwork.co.uk, or Lisa at thevoiceovernetwork.co.uk. Please do email us and we will send you a special discount code. So special coupon code to get you joined up, because we would love you to come and get involved. And then you get access to all the past webinars as well. So we've got tons and tons of past webinars with other casting directors and agents and producers. So good stuff. Wonderful. That's it, the end of our fantastic voiceover hour. We will be back in 2 weeks' time with another fabulous guest. And obviously we're going to be back on the 11th of December for our 3-hour online workshop, Finding Your Inner Villain, which is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you very much, Lisa.
Hi. Yes.
Thank you, Rod Woods.
Mm-hmm.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us. Thank
Yay.
you.
Thank you, Rachael.
Yay. Been great.
Thanks, Sarah.
And thank you, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us for the Voiceover Hour. Have a lovely rest of your evening or day. And we look forward to seeing you again at the next Voiceover Hour. Bye.